Hey guys, hope you're ready for another awareness slap on the new episode of True Thought Talk, the one and only podcast made to teach ambitious individuals like you how to use your mind to unlock your true potential and beat the invisible wall. Whether you're someone who feels stuck in life and wants to change it for the better, but nothing seems to be working, you're sure to pick up a few actionable tips when you listen to True Thought Talk. Today, we're going to talk about the quote, "If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't." And we'll explain why the side you choose will determine your reality and just what to do to check whether you're on the side that'll bring you to prosperity or keep you in the jail cell of fear. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to identify the exact side you're hanging out on so that you can flip, switch, and then change your results. That said, let me go ahead and bring you into the conversation Coach Joanne and I had on this exact topic. If you think of why you can't, by law, you can think of why you can. If you think of why you can't, by law, you can think of why you can.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you say that?
Of the voice inside telling me that I'm not good enough when I want to do something I've never done before, or why I can't do that, or how I've never been that type of person, what makes me think I can do that now, or I've always been this type of person, so therefore I can't be the person that I really want to be. And if you think in that aspect of it, by law, by universal law, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, doesn't matter. You can find the opposite of that and think opposite.
When you say about by law, what is a law? Like what is a universal law?
Universal just means at all places, all the time, doesn't matter, circumstance, nothing of that matter. By law, universal law meaning it is true at every point, at every time, for everyone, no matter if you believe it or you don't.
When I hear about if you think you can also think on how you can, immediately comes to me that law of polarity. And the law of polarity will state that everything has opposites. It's a principle that everything has two sides. Everything in this universe has two parts. There is good and evil. There is love and hate. There is fear and faith. There is day and night. There is positive and negative. Even in a battery, needs the positive and negative to be able to function. In electricity, same. In the battery of our cars, we have a positive and negative. Everything operates with this law. This law is in everything, and you can see it in all the things you live and you experience in this life. So automatically when I hear about the how I can, I have to become aware that has an opposite, and there is also a can for that.
So cannot. has an opposite, which is can. I cannot.
Yes.
You can also think I can.
Yes. I think the choice we make in choosing what polarity we're gonna choose, it depends on our thinking habit or our choice habit. If we analyze ourselves and we notice like every time we go to something new and we try to explore a different territory, we get into the unknown, we tend to feel fear of those things that we don't know. And when fear, which is a negative side to faith, take over your mind, immediately a train of thoughts and ideas that are in harmony with that fear are going to start coming to you. And those are the I cannot this, I cannot that. If you go right before you say to yourself you cannot, and you analyze what was the thinking, you will find that most of the time fear is hiding behind that I cannot.
Is there a way, like, is it possible for someone who thinks it's impossible to overcome that fear?
Absolutely. Because the fact that with ignorance to how that works doesn't mean there is not an opposite side of that, which is understanding.
So there's always going to be a greener side to a darker side, and there's always going to be a light to a dark, and there's always going to be a dark to a light. And whatever is alive in, like, let's say in my personal world, whatever is alive, whether it's light or darkness, it depends on what am I paying attention to, is what you're saying, right? Wherever my focus is it on the positive or is it on the negative? And that's what I'm going to keep getting more of.
And I think the work is not on trying to get mad at ourselves of like the fact that we're thinking that we cannot, but to be aware and start being aware that the law of opposites operate in every thought and in every action we take. So that law also can operate when we say, I cannot. I can use that law in my favor and say, if I think I cannot, that means I can also think I can. And when you open that door of I can, to open that train of thinking of why and how you can.
That's gold. That is gold, because a lot of times we get stuck in our way of thinking and we get involved and emotionally tied to that thinking, and we live in those thoughts. We live in those pictures that we're building because of those thoughts. And we forget that there is not only, that is just one point of view, but that's also on a level of polarity. It's either more towards the negative or more towards the positive. And a lot of times we don't even see that we can pull ourselves out of that.
Yes, it's like, let me give you this example. It's like I want to go to LA, right? My goal is to get to LA. And I get into my car, and if I'm not where I'm at right now, LA is south. and that south direction can get me to LA, why am I gonna start going north when I know I can get to LA? I cannot get to LA that direction. And even if I decide to take that direction, I can always change it.
You can always turn around.
You can always turn around and change it. But you don't get to LA thinking of going north, going to the opposite side. So if you want something in life, you're not gonna get there by thinking, how can you not get there? You're gonna end up victimizing yourself and giving yourself more reasons why you can't. Because if we live in a world of growth and expansion, any idea that you held in the mind, it's gonna start growing and expanding. And if you start creating pictures and telling yourself and giving yourself reasons of why you cannot, you're gonna start creating more and more belief of why you cannot. But if you start thinking that you can, even when you don't know how it's going to happen, you're going to start opening doors to ideas that match that thinking. What do you think?
I think that like attracts like. Our brains are electronic switching stations that attract vibrations. Those vibrations turn into pictures in your mind. And it's the pictures in your mind that direct your body. So I think it's very important to really pick and choose wisely what pictures you're allowing in your mind. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or you don't, those pictures are driving you, even if you feel like it's you. But it's really not. It's when we start doing things that make us uncomfortable, or we're actually thinking of the thing that we're doing. Like when was the last time you thought about tying your shoe? You just did it. When was the last time you thought about, okay, I need to do a hoop there, I need to wrap it around, pull it through the hole. I don't remember the last time I had to think about that, but that's because it's become a habit ingrained within me, just like so many other millions of habits that we have that we don't think about. And all of those were created by pictures. In that moment you had a picture that you wanted to be healthy. So you held that picture. And so you started going to the gym, or you started exercising, you started walking more, you started eating healthier, you started removing things, but it all started from a picture. So if you're not in control of that picture, you're not in control of your life. And that's what I think.
I think also that one of the things we confuse is that when we choose about the I cannot versus I can, is because we think most of the times on the not what I can, but how can I? And we want to know the how since the moment we make the decision to go for that thing. And because we don't have all the pieces together, we don't think it's possible. Like, we want to have everything set by the time we made the decision. And it doesn't work that way. When you give your GPS a direction, it will direct you as you go. You don't get signs to turn left in certain street until you don't get to that street. You don't get it like 10 miles before. You get it when you're right there in front of it. So the reason why most of the times we automatically go to the I cannot is because we don't see the tools and the situations that at that moment can lead us there. We want to have everything in front of our eyes to be able to believe that we can put all those pieces together. And it doesn't work like that. We want to do the work of our perfect servo mechanism, which is this machine, like this system that works within you, composed by your brain, your nervous central,
your nervous system,
and your muscles. And they create this perfect mechanism to work towards your goal. You only have to give it direction. You don't tell your GPS to do nothing else, but your only responsibility is to put that address there, to put that goal there, and then let the GPS do the work. The satellite and all that stuff. You don't need to know where the satellites and all that stuff are to know that your GPS is working. You don't need to know how that mechanism is going to do. You just have to believe it's there and it works all the time. That's why they say, the great thinkers say, we become what we think about. Because when we entertain that picture of what I can do, I'm giving my mechanism orders and directions of what do I want to accomplish. And situations are going to start aligning towards that. When you start working cells of recognition in your brain, and your brain start creating this picture, it's going to move that picture to your nervous system and to your muscles for you to start taking action and moving you to the direction of the accomplishment of that goal direction you give yourself.
Awesome. Wow. Amazing. So that's why it's important. If you think you can also think of. If you think you cannot, you can also think by law that you can. And whatever you focus on is what you get more of. You don't have to worry about how, because the servo mechanism within you is there to help you get to where you focus.
And if you want to learn more about that law, just go and do your research and get understanding of what law of polarity is, how it works and how it operates, so you can move from a point of understanding instead of getting results because ignorance of how this law is operating right now in your life. When you get to understand how it works, why it works, then you can get the control and you become more aware of the things you're gonna decide to think and to tell to yourself. So next time you think about what you cannot, you're gonna remember that there is a law of polarity, and then you can think and how you can. And you're going to start creating, thinking from that idea. That's pretty much it.
Wonderful. We will see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye, guys.